Welcome, everyone. This is the third year of Beyond Broadcast, and each year the conference has explored new territories related to public media, democracy, and participatory media. This year we're doing it in a more literal way. We're going to be looking at maps, and I thought I'd tell you a little bit about why we're doing that, what the day holds for you, and our themes that we'd like to keep in mind. Pat did a nice job of laying out the really central theme about publics, but there's lots going on that you're going to be hearing about. First, we chose maps because they're a rising and vibrant form of participatory media for public knowledge and action. And second, we chose them because they can serve as tools to help orient media makers and publics in a time of unstable boundaries, untested platforms, and new players. So to boil that down, we're talking about maps as public media and maps of public media. So a note on how we're defining maps. We took a broad swath, so we're looking at geographical maps, visualizations that map new territories and new connections, and then mappings of fields like, for example, the academic study of media is changing, and there's a mapping effort there. So don't worry, it'll all be clear soon. All kinds of people and organizations are using digital maps to tell stories and to bring issues into focus. You saw several examples just now, and if you open up your FAQ on page 5, you'll find several more. Maps have always had a political dimension, but too often they've been a tool for mastery and colonization, reinforcing top-down stories about power and the world. Now, like filmmaking, photography, and journalism, the specialized tools of cartography are being democratized. This is for a number of reasons. A few are the Clinton administration's decision to make GPS coordinates readily available, Google's decision to allow map mashups over the last 3 years, and the rise of handheld mobile devices. We're about to see another wave of experimentation tied to the March launch of the Google Visualization API, which was based on the popular data visualization site Gapminder. There are also many other free and open source tools like FreeMind and Many Eyes that make mapping and visualization much easier, allowing for the creation of do-it-yourself media by citizens, advocates, and nonprofits. And you can check some of those out in the demo room. Maps are now also serving as a common interface for search, news, video, data, and participatory content. For example, the New York Times recently penned a deal with Google Earth to feature their location-specific content. So instead of opening up your daily paper, you might go, like Orlando, you might change your habits and go to your morning map and see what's happening around you and around the world. Geographic and mobile tools and devices are also helping people to make unprecedented public media, like the AP's Mobile Media News Network, which was just announced with the launch of the new iPhone. This network will not only beam content to you based on your location, it also allows you to beam content back up to AP. What this means is that it's a harbinger for the future. Young media consumers will now expect access to content that's not just always on, personalized, and just in time, but now just in place. So as they say, location, location, location. But that's not all. It's also become easier to chart connections between people, organizations, and ideas with social network mapping. Many say that so-called semantic mapping will revolutionize search technologies, returning more reliable results and creating new constellations of meaning. And sites like Second Life offer new spaces for creativity, learning, and debate. You'll hear more about this in the first panel, and you can try out some hands-on mapping experiments in the demo space. But the title of this conference isn't Aren't Maps Awesome? As much as I wanted it to be It's Beyond Broadcast. We're here to talk about how public media are evolving from top-down content streams, or have evolved, to democratic tools that inform, engage, and mobilize publics. So this brings us back to our second theme for the day, maps of public media. And I have 2 minutes, so I'll talk about it very quickly. Those same tools that are helping us to tell stories and to see new parts of the world can also help us track shifts in the public media landscape, in the media landscape. Investors and activists, foundations and marketers, media makers, and media consumers are all developing media maps to try to understand the changing media terrain. When we started this project, we thought we'd do our own, a big map of public media, explain everything. What we found out is there is no one map of public media. There are many overlapping ones, maps of new distribution channels, maps of impact, censorship, partisanship, relationships between people, organizations, issues. So we've created an exhibit out in the hallway so you can see what we found. With the help of, there's a crisis in both local and international news. With the help of many foundations, we're seeing an explosion of public media experiments from the hyper-local to the transnational. One way we've depicted that in this conference is a community media hub in the demo space, which brings together all kinds of different maps of media that's happening in communities. So we'd like you to go there and see how it matches up with your own experiences. From experimentation, we need to move to sustainability. In our third roundtable discussion and in the keynote speech, we'll be mapping the funding streams and policies that support public media, complex and evolving business models, new forms of production and distribution, and calls to provide universal broadband access, protect user privacy, negotiate network neutrality, and expand the rights and sources for media makers. We have many questions, but we also have many allies. This room is a collection of knowledge, will, and potential collaboration. In order to provide truly public media for the digital era, we'll need all of your perspectives, pros and amateurs, funders and entrepreneurs, US and global citizens. We've set up tools to help you continue the discussion. We've got a social network, which you haven't logged in. If you haven't logged in yet, you should. We've set up a Twitter feed for today so you can talk to one another and back to us. Hopefully you won't curse. If you'd like to tweet about the conference, please proceed your tweets with #BB08, and there's instructions in your packet for how to sign on. Use the network breaks, they're long. Start a birds of a feather lunch or attend one. Whatever you do, do something today to help shape the future of participatory public media. Thanks.